right, welcome back, listeners, to another episode of the EFFL official podcast. I'm the producer, Paul, and I'm actually starting us off today because the host is currently out of town. Where are you at over there, Todd?
I am in Aspen, Colorado, at the base of the Aspen Mountains. So I want to say welcome to Colorado to everybody out there in the EFFL podcast land.
Looks nice.
But more importantly is the gentleman to the corner of the screen there is our buddy and regular, I guess, guest host or guest is Joe Bliss. What's up, Joe?
What's going on, guys? You all right?
I'm fantastic. So, Paul, do you want to do the whole liking, subscribing, clicking thingies you do so well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everybody make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. We're also posting other videos that we've got here, so make sure you check everything out. We've got their social medias as well, so make sure you check us out on all of our connected things. We've got it next to us. Oh, other side. Right over there. Got all of that.
Everything's reversed, right? It's kind of like a mirror image there. And extremeFFL.com is where you go. Quickly, on today's show, we're going to talk about some of the EFFL leaders of our 3 public leagues. We have 4 weeks down. We got 14 more to go. A little bit of recap of what happens in the NFL in week 4. Checking out, see how well AI does, and then get to our game of the week. But be aware, there is a game in London at 9:30 Eastern time on Sunday. We'll be back in a quick second, so hit that button, Paul.
Look at that. That was perfect timing there.
All right. Yeah, all right. After 27 previous episodes, we're getting pretty good at this thing. So I am your roving reporter sitting today in Aspen, Colorado, checking out the sunshine. And well, no snow here yet, but I don't snow. Paul snows. Joe, skis. Joe, do you ski?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only one of us skis, and that's you, Paul. So I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but we're having fun here.
It's the only way that I enjoy the snow. You gotta do something fun in it, otherwise it's not worth it for me, you know.
Yeah, I can toboggan. I can have a snowball fight. Make a pretty cool fort if I needed to.
Okay.
that's
you
kind
can toboggan.
The what?
Very nice. Very nice with a toboggan.
He used to have we used to have a family toboggan that we used, actually. I remember.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
One of those long
wooden one with a red cushion on it, real Christmassy.
There you go.
It's fun for a while, but then the person in the back gets like the extra whip from the bump. So, but anyways, while we're out here in Aspen, let's go ahead and chat about what's happening in the EFFL world and kind of recap a little bit and all that. But I want to give a shout out. This gentleman, I'm just going to call him Mike because you'll hear his name a lot today. Mike Woland is one of the executives of the Extreme FFL, been around since the beginning of time, and he's actually having a pretty good season so far, and he had an awesome week last week. So let's get into this and see how he did on these public leagues. Now, our 3 public leagues are the Platinum League and the 2 sponsored leagues from Tabby Entertainment and 123 Go. We didn't mention our sponsors, but as always, want to thank 123 Go and Tabby Entertainment for all that. But let's get into it. And Mike Woland won all 3 leagues. His team is 1,004 and counting, which we mentioned a few times in the past, is how many wins Michigan football has had over their entire history. So it's like 1,008, right?
That's a good name.
Yeah, pretty cool name there, right? So he was led by Nico Collins with 64.7 points on his way to a 302-point total. And I think that was far and away the most of the week. At least I know for sure it is on the 3 public leagues. So let's chat first about Nico Collins. I mean, a U of M guy, which is great. Love that. And I didn't know if the Houston offense would continue to be as strong, the whole sophomore slump with with Stroud. But what do you think, Joe? What do you think, Paul? It's coming through pretty well. And Nico's the man.
Yeah, you can go for it.
I think Nico's doing an excellent job. I don't think I think Stephon Diggs being down there helps a lot. It kind of took the tight end out of the game. If you look at Dalton Schultz's stats last year through the first 4 games compared to this year through the first 4 games, totally flip-flop because now you got Stephon Diggs down there, so you have a third receiver because you still have Tank Dell there. So you're looking at the stats. I don't think Stroud is as hot as he came out last year as he is this year. I'm not saying he's horrible or anything like that. I just think he needs to get on a better streak right now.
Okay.
But it does help to have Joe Mixon there also.
It does. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I won't spoil it for you, Paul, because I know that this is something in the future of this show.
Sure.
I won't spoil anything regarding that. But so if you want to chime in a little bit about what your thought about what's going on down in Houston, it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm definitely surprised that CJ Stroud is doing as well as he is this year because I was partially expecting him to have a little bit more of a downfall. But I think like the weapons of Nico Collins and like you said, Stephon Diggs are just so strong on a field that they're just a defense isn't able to really pressure him down. And I played Nico Collins. I did have hope, and it's because I'm kind of seeing the trend right now for the Texans, and I'm seeing that he's doing better than I expected. So I'm kind of leaning into that, and especially like we said many times before, and you'll hear it all over the place. Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs, great offense to work with, and I think it's just going to keep pushing them forward. I'm not sure exactly how far it's going to go, and Joe Mixon is very questionable with his injuries, and Tank Dell also is questionable with injuries right now. So it's a tough spot to see like how long they're going to be able to last this out, but there's a chance that they can push through and just kind of be a better team than people expected, right?
Yeah. Now, Joe, you mentioned Dalton Schultz. Is there any tight end this year on any team that is worthy of anything at this point?
Man, that's a whole sort of subject in itself.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, you got to look at Kyle Pitts in Atlanta last week as a great example. Had 0 targets, 0 points, nothing across the board. So if he's on your team in regular fantasy, I mean, you caught a 0 on that. But I totally agree with the tight ends right now. I think to make the top 10, if you have 6 or 7 points, you're going to be in the top 10 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was one tight end that performed well last week, and that's Pat Fryermuth. We'll get into him a little bit in a second. But, yeah, so anyways, so getting into this, so Mike Woland and all his 1,004 accounting people was a top for all 3 leagues and overall standings for the season. In the Platinum League, it's 1,004 and counting with 35 wins. Second place is Michigan Ringer. And then, hey, Joe, any idea who between Angels and Insects owner is? Because they're at third with the 24 wins.
Yeah, I do know who the owner is, but if someone can tell me what that team name means, I'll be really impressed.
Isn't it a song?
Not you, Todd.
Yeah, I could not tell you. For a moment, I was like Angels in the Outfield, and then I was like, what would Insects have anything? No, I don't know.
That's actually a song from my favorite band, Papa Roach, and that if you listen to that song, it's got a lot of meaning to life in it. So I truly like that. I love that song, and it sticks to me daily.
Yeah, I kind of see the dichotomy between the Angels and Insects. I like that. I could see how that could be a good song. Yeah.
So I did not know that until last year when you had the team name also. But so Joe, you are in third place right now in the Platinum League with 24 wins. Moving on.
It's a struggle this year. It's a struggle this year for me.
Aw, I feel so sorry for you.
No, you don't.
I'm not anywhere on the board.
Well, I think you're kicking my button.
I
think you're kicking my butt in 2 private leagues.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't get to that all yet. So
why is it here? 1 minute, Dad. Why is it a struggle for you here, Joe? What's going on this year? What's going wrong for you?
It's not as predictable as it was over the past few years as far as I think offenses are kind of struggling this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in tune. And I think that all goes back to all these excellent players that are sitting out during the preseason. It's taken them the first few games to gel together in the regular season. And I think it's turning up. It's kind of screwing the fantasy game up, and it's definitely screwing up the gambling game 100%. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully by week 6 we can get a little bit of better production out of all these guys. But yeah, I mean, and then if you go back to the tight end, you're not getting any points out of a tight end right now.
No,
Right.
there's no good answer right now.
Yeah. I think a lot of injuries too. I mean, there's always injuries, but some of the big names are out there that are, again, I feel that's one of the reasons why our league is different and better, because
Right.
we
Oh,
don't
for
have
real.
Well, because that's the
someone from
thing is
injuries.
the draft right now, or the phase of the draft, I guess, is really it's tumultuous. I guess is the best way to say it this year because of the way
Yeah.
that the players and teams are actually playing out.
Yeah, it's for all those people who had the 1-1 overall pick and picked McCaffrey. Damn. I mean, I had a second overall in one of my leagues, and I didn't want McCaffrey. So I thought, oh my God, don't take Bijan. And they took McCaffrey. So I'm okay. But I was like, I don't want to get stuck with them. So he's out until at least week 6, right? So, and then I got Jordan Mason. So whatever. We'll get to that a little later on. But, I guess you plug and play with good teams, stuff happens. So it's
Right.
good teams have that depth, right? So, continuing on into the sponsored leagues, the 1-2-3 sponsored league is being paced by 1,004 and counting with 44 wins. Second place is Florida Wahoo. Florida Wahoo is Dave Seifkes. Used to be an employee up with us in the dealership, and now he's down in Florida, so he's at 37 wins. And then Zelma Zigzags with 36. Zelma Zigzags is captained by James Ranger, who's also is an executive and been around for the entire time. As a side note, in the 1-2-3 Go League, Asinine Idiots, the AI team, is 4th with 33 wins.
Nice. Better than I expected.
So the way that I do the AI picks is I go through and I ask the AI to pick the best quarterback, and then the top, whatever the top 10 that show up, I go through in order of 1 through down, however many it takes, so I find a player who they have not chosen yet.
Mhm.
So then I pick that quarterback, and then on the running backs and receivers, I look at going the same way down, 1 on down, and I go from 10 on up, because I'm having the 1 on down one being RB1 and the one from 10 going up being RB2. So that's kind of how I picked AI's team, and they're kicking my butt. So they're currently 4th with 33 wins.
Hopefully they start to do. I mean, hopefully they start to do poorly around like game 7, 8, and 9 before they can like re-switch their players around because they haven't really had the planning and tactical thought that a normal player would have. With like strategy saying I'm not going to play them based on whatever they want for future.
Yeah, they have
matchups.
burned some players, yes.
But we'll see. It's hard to tell if they're still picking good players every time. You never know.
I did beat them this week, though.
There you go.
I'm 1-3 against them directly. So, how you doing, sir? Fantastic.
All right. So
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, no problem. All right, and then let's get into the last one, the Tabby Entertainment Sponsor Leagues. Again, 1,004, excuse me, and counting, has 66 wins. K-Box Crushers and System of a Down, which is Candace Box and David Smith. Both of those are executives, have 60 wins. And then a new guy, G-Min 824 with 57 wins. I believe that is Scott Gerhardt. And Joe, you and I met Scott Gerhardt at the expo. I forgot what company he's from, but Scott Gerhardt, I believe, is G-Man. So he's currently 4th in the Tabby League.
nice.
So, all right. And we will get into some of the AI picks quickly, because I also have them pick the winners. And I pass them on to Joe, because Joe's the guru of sports betting between all of us here. And so I gave Joe AI's picks last night, so I'll go through those quickly in a little bit. But I think Joe has a little bone to pick with AI on one of the games.
There's actually there's a few of them that I wasn't too impressed with, but the most one is what I told you about last night.
All right, well, we'll get to that in a second. So let's move on to some of the best performances for week 4 in our extreme exchange. So again, the stats that happen out there get translated into dollars, and then in dollars help adjust the players or teams' value. And you guys have any idea who number 1 was last week?
Nico Collins.
No.
No, Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Really?
Derrick Henry had 198 yards.
199 yards, I think.
Yeah, 199 yards, an 83-yard touchdown run. He has a total of a value of $340 last week. So Derrick Henry was the star of the league. Baker Mayfield still producing. How many people in Cleveland are kicking themselves in the ass that they got rid of Baker Mayfield, and all he's done for the past 5 years is go somewhere else and does well. But he had a $322 day on last week, and then our homeboy, the historic perfection, 18 of 18. He has more touchdown receptions in that game than he had incompletions. Mr. Jared Goff at $298.
And didn't get the game ball.
Yeah, he did not get the game ball. Now, regarding our league, Joe, I don't know if you noticed the scoring that we had in your league. I lost by 1.5 points, whatever it was, because Goff received the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Really? So close game, but I lost that one. And then I did win another one because I did have Jared Goff on my other league. But anyway, yeah, Jared Goff played fantastic. Looked good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on Derrick Henry, Mayfield, or Goff, or anybody else?
I think people
I think that offense in Baltimore is tremendous for Henry.
You think he's happy there over Tennessee?
Oh, for sure. He's got one heck of an offensive line. He's got a way better quarterback. So, yeah, I think as far as he doesn't get injured, knock on wood, he should be fine there.
Yeah.
I think people have always had some good predictions for him this season, and he started off real slow. And so I think people have been waiting for him to blow up, and this was a good week for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he is all as advertised. And just want to go back a second to the tight ends. There actually was a tight end this week who performed in the top 10, and it's Pat Fryermuth for Pittsburgh. Actually was the 7th best performance with $246 day. So that's the only tight end that did anything worthwhile last week. So,
wow.
But all right, so now let's chat about some of the biggest year-to-date gainers. People who started off the season at whatever dollar amount it was, and through 4 weeks have gained the most. Now, you could probably assume, and rightfully so, that some of the players that are the top are the players who didn't play much last year, so didn't have very high starting value. And you could probably even guess that the guy who replaced McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, is the highest, and he's gone up $75.21. He is currently at $100.67. That $100 threshold is what we consider being average. So the question I have, Joe, I answer you, Paul, is Jordan Mason an average running back?
I haven't studied him enough to know, but it's hard for me to say that he's going to be performing too much better. I mean, I think his team can push him above average, but I don't necessarily think that he has that. But I don't know. I haven't studied him. I don't know.
I think there was week 2 or 3 where he was average. I believe it was 3 against the Rams.
Okay.
Let me take a look at this real quick. So the Rams came back and won that game. Yeah, Mason was 19 carries, 77 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 receptions. So, I mean, that's kind of an average day in that outlook. But the rest of his year, I mean, he's averaging probably 20 points.
Yeah.
Just over 20. So I'd say, he's probably above average right now. Is he going to exceed that every week? No.
All right. You don't put him in the Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey when he is healthy level, do you?
Oh, no.
Right.
No.
But I think it might be worthy of someone buying them at $100 and change.
Mm-hmm.
Probably worth a buy if you have the money sitting around or want to move a few dollars around. But again, I don't think it's going to be much higher either. Probably 130.
No, I think if you buy at 100 now, you might see him get up to 110, maybe 115 max.
Okay.
I think the time to buy him was when we bought him.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But is the other thing that's pretty important here is to keep an eye on the injuries and find those players who are backing them up.
Right.
And can find in there. So, like the second place player with the highest up so far is Sam Darnold. He came into the season with $20 value. He's now up 69. Boy, I got a little bit of the sun. I got to see here. $69 up right now because he had such a low value. So those are the people who are going to make the most money. And then Jawan Jennings for the Niners also. He's up $61. So Darnold is at 89. Jawan Jennings is at 91. Are either of those people on your might want to buy list?
Not sure on that.
Nothing. If you have money to spend, is it worth putting into Sam? I think if you got money and you want to move it around, it's not making enough for you. I think Sam Darnold is definitely worth an $89 buy.
I was going to say Sam Darnold.
I think, yeah.
But
yeah,
he
is.
I'm not sure how much he's going to go past this spot, right? I think that's the question.
I think Sam Darnold's going to probably top out between 105 and 110.
Okay.
He's staying pretty consistent with his pass completions. He's averaging at least 2 touchdowns a game for the most part. He's had a couple big games. I think he had 1 for 4 and 1 for 3 touchdowns. I think he'll reach the 100 plus plateau, but it's only 4 weeks in the season. We'll have to see how it is.
Right. Okay. How about Jawan Jennings? What do you thought about him?
I think Jawan Jennings is going to go down. You got Debo back in the fold. You paid Ayuk all that money. You need to get some ROI on him. I think Ayuk blows up this week, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I think depending on health with the 49ers, you got Kittle back in the fold now. You got Ayuk. You got Debo there. He's 4th on the tree now, So I think he's more of that, maybe that 3-catch, 50-yard guy.
So you putting Jennings on the I want to sell him watch list right now?
Oh, I did sell him.
Okay. Nice. So any guess on who the highest gainer is who began the season above $100?
Nico?
No.
Or Henry?
Henry.
Nice. Okay.
Derrick Henry is currently at $186.93.
Wow.
He's up $51 and change since the beginning of the season.
He's in that McCaffrey level. I think he was at, 202?
207.
Yep.
207?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive for the guy who's 30 years old. And did you see in that run where he was I'll say the DBs were not catching him.
Right.
So
he was pulling away from him.
It was amazing. And he's 30 years old and 235 pounds, I think he is.
Could you imagine if he had that offense his entire career, where he would be?
Oh.
What level he would be at?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. So, anyway, so those are your big gainers and big performers for week 4 in the Extreme Exchange. All right, so let's slide over to see how AI is doing. Now, I mentioned before that AI is currently 4th in the 1-2-3 Go League. So, all right, they're beating me. That's typical. But on the betting line, Joe, overall last week they went 9 of 16 on the money lines and 7 out of 16 against the spread. Currently, their stats for the year, they are on the money line wins, they are 56.3 and against the spread 42.2. So Joe, help me out here a little bit. Help us out. Money line 56.3.
I
I know
think their
that's
best week was week 1, I do believe. They
they
hit
did
10 or 11 on the money line.
13 on the money line,
Again,
actually.
this season is so upside down. If you looked at the lines last week, with the first 3 weeks of underdogs continuing to win, the lines kind of shifted last week. And if you look at the Vikings were a 3-point dog against Green Bay going into Green Bay. And I thought I mentioned that to you earlier in the week where I really love that game in the Vikings.
Yes, you did.
And I really like the Saints going to Atlanta as a 3-point favorite also. So I put those two together on a parlay and hit both those. But the Jets were a huge disappointment last week. I think they were 3-point favorites and they ended up losing that game. So as far as AI, it came out great in week 1. We're seeing it dropping week by week. I think the spreads are pretty difficult and they're a little lopsided on AI right now.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, all I do is ask a few questions. And Paul, you probably don't even get into this, but what I decided to do again, I just simply ask money line bets and then projected scores. And I get sometimes scores, sometimes I get win by, whatever it is. I put that on here. So let me run through. I'll give you the winners of week 5 according to what AI said. Money line winners. I'll rattle it off here quickly and we'll kind of go back through a couple of these things. Winners will be Atlanta, who plays tonight, Minnesota, Chicago, Baltimore, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Washington, Miami, Denver, San Francisco, Green Bay, Seattle, Kansas City, and Pittsburgh. There are 4 teams not playing. They're on the bye, including our beloved Lions. But there you go. Those are the 14 game winners that AI is picking. Now, Joe, the Minnesota Vikings game, AI
Mm-hmm.
has winning by 10. Now, they're playing in London against the Jets. I know you had an issue
Right.
with this game, so tell me why you had an issue between Minnesota and the Jets, and Minnesota giving 10, according to AI.
I think 10 is too high. You're in neutral ground. So that spread being 2.5 would tell me if Minnesota was a true home team and they're playing in Minnesota, that would probably be a 4.5-point spread.
Okay.
10 is too much. Yes, the Jets looked like crap last week, but it was in the rain. I think Minnesota does win the game, but I think it's probably going to be a 3-point game, to be honest with you, because I think Rodgers has something to prove with all the talk that's been going on this week with his cadence and everything that kind of screwed up the offense, which was bullshit because you practice that anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, I think 10 is too much. So if that was a true line, I would be all over the Jets. But it's not a true line, and I do think Minnesota wins the game, but it's going to be 3 points.
Okay. So, Paul, you have not bet at all on any sports games, have you, before?
No.
No.
No, I mean, I kind of understand it, though. I've gotten a rundown a couple of times, but yeah, I haven't done it.
So, all right. So let's slide down. I'll let Paul break down a little bit of the Niners game. The Niners are playing the Rams, if I remember right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Niners are, according to AI,
Cardinals.
Cardinals. Excuse me. Well, thank you, Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yep.
The Niners. Oh, there's gonna be a big party here. Is there a party? I didn't get invited to the party. All right. Anyways, Niners are playing Cardinals, and Niners, according to AI, are giving 10. What's your thought, Paul? You take the Niners, or are you giving Arizona 10?
I mean, I'm still going to take the Niners.
Are you really?
I would, yeah. I mean, I think that they still got
with the 10.
So you're actually giving 10 points. So Niners.
You're giving 10 points to Arizona. So it's 10-0 at the start of the game.
Oh, you're saying that Arizona gets the 10 at the start and then.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh.
So you go with Arizona and 10, or the Niners losing 10?
Oh man.
What do you think? I think Arizona needs to rebound a little bit here. I think Marvin Harrison is becoming all world, which is great. And like Joe said, the Niners are getting Debo back. And if they're going to pay Ayuk the money, might as well go ahead and give him some money, some things here. But 10 points there is a lot. So they got Minnesota is giving 10, Niners giving 10, and there's 2 more games that AI is thinking are going to be blowouts. That's Seattle giving 10, and the Chiefs are giving 10. So AI is calling for 4 blowouts this week.
Oh wow!
But so Joe, help us out a little bit. You got a second? What would be a good percentage on money line picks? If you are doing this professionally, whatever, what percentage of money line picks do you feel you need to be at? 60%? Higher than that, or what?
I mean, you want to be somewhere between 60 and 70% on your return on bets.
Okay.
Obviously, if you have a strong feeling on one team over another, you're obviously going to put more money on that. So what I do is I take AI's picks on the money line, and I make bets in pairs. So I'll take 2 teams, and I will put them together in the same bet on the money line. And the stronger I feel on the money line within winning, the more money I put down on that. So, I think they said who was going to win the Browns and Commanders? I think it was Commanders, right?
Commanders by 7.
Yeah. So, it's a 3-point spread right now. Washington's at home. I probably would say yes, they're going to win, but I think it's going to be a pretty close game with Cleveland. So I'd probably take the Commanders and the Broncos, and I would pair them together, but put a small amount on it because I'm not 100% convinced that both those teams are going to win.
Okay.
On straight money line bets.
Okay. Well, maybe Pablo, you and I can get back there in Michigan and Wise, and we'll make some bets. We'll have some fun. So we'll have to consult our guru, Joe Bliss, though.
It's fun but stressful. As I'm texting your dad on Sunday, like he's like, "Oh my God, look at this game with Dallas." And I'm like, "I put money on Dallas," and they're getting their butt handed to them.
Yeah.
That seems like the nth degree from fantasy in general. Because in fantasy, you're kind of putting bets, but it's not. It's no money's on the line. I mean,
right?
No serious money on the line.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. Hey, do you have that music you want to play for us as we transition into the NFL?
Oh, absolutely.
Storyline stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then bring us back in when you're done.
All right, breaking it back here. What's going on with the Lions? You said.
All right, so week 4. Let's discuss a few of the things, observations, week 4, and this is some of the ones we have in our notes here. I'm going to go on record. I think maybe you guys may have heard this. I mean, maybe not, but I do know I said it numerous times. I picked Jaden Daniels as the best rookie quarterback coming out of the draft.
You did?
I picked him way higher than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, he did.
Give me some props.
And
I got you the applause right then.
And I said that I absolutely hated Williams.
Yeah. Yep. So Jaden Daniels, I watch football a lot, as many of us have. I am so impressed with what he has done so far. I know it's 4 weeks, and I figured that, CJ Stroud had a great year last year, and he's still performing at a high level now. Jaden Daniels is performing extremely high level. We had 16 drives in a row where they got points. The punter punted in week 1 and didn't punt again till week 4. Pretty impressive. So what's your thought about Jaden Daniels, you guys?
I mean, he's double the price of Caleb Williams right now.
Yes, he is. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, I know he's up there in price.
Yeah, I just looked. It was like 72 and 155 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm very impressed with Jaden Daniels. I think that he has really been taking the Commanders to a new level, which is really cool to see. But I didn't think it would happen. Congratulations on that, Dan. I mean, I thought he would do good, but I didn't think he'd do this good.
What is making him so good, Joe?
Yeah, I'm very impressed with his game. But I'd like to see what he does when he plays some real defenses. I mean, he's got 4 games. He played Tampa Bay, which is a good defense, and they lost that game. They played the Giants, they played Cincinnati, and they played Arizona. Those are all bottom-level defenses. 3 out of the 4 are at least.
Okay.
And if you see week 1, he was kind of contained week 1. He didn't blow out that much. Very impressed with how he plays the game. I think he needs to include his number 1 receiver a little bit more than what he has been. He likes to get out of the pocket a little too quick in my eyes, but he doesn't want to get sacked, and I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not scanning the whole field at one time. I think he locks in on 1 receiver. But very impressed with his game. I think they're doing a great job. I think the OC is playing into what his game level is. So I think he's doing great. I would like to see what he does against a better defense. Maybe we'll see that this week with Cleveland. They got a little bit better defense if they're healthy. So we'll see.
He made his pass last week. It was 3rd and 7, and he did a back corner fade to McLaurin that, I mean, I couldn't hand the ball to McLaurin any better than where it was placed from that 27-ish yard throw that Daniels made. So that was a legit pass. He had somebody right in his face hitting him too. So it was legit.
He's got 1. I think he's got 1 interception is all. So
yeah,
good.
So that's an awesome start. So, and it happened again. The Chiefs lose another receiver. They now lost Rashee Rice. If you happen to see that play, it was Mahomes' helmet who actually hit Rashee Rice in the knee, and it was on an interception that Mahomes threw. And going for the tackle, Mahomes and Rashee Rice collided. Next thing you know, Rashee Rice is out for a year with a torn ACL. What do the Chiefs do? And they're 4-0. They have Mahomes, and call it Mahomes magic, call it conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. They ended up pulling up the games and winning all the time.
Call it a script, right?
Yeah.
Follow that narrative, right? So what do the Chiefs do? There's rumors of Devontae Adams possibly. There's other possibility. Devontae Adams going to the Jets, Mike Williams going to the Chiefs. What did the Chiefs do? They lose Pacheco. Now they have Carson Steele. They have Kareem Hunt now. I heard Edwards-Helaire is coming back now, and they have Samaj P. I'm not going to think that any of those 4 running backs are going to carry them to the Super Bowl. So you got to have someone else. Travis Kelce, he had a decent week 3, but there's just not much offense there, and the points that Kansas City is scoring are going down each week. So if you're the Chiefs GM, what do you do?
That's a tough question. You lost Rice, you lost Hollywood Brown in the beginning of the season. Your running back room is backups in my eyes. The salary cap, I don't think they have enough in the salary cap to go out and make a trade for Devontae Adams without getting a 3rd team involved. I believe I read somewhere they only had $4.9 million available in the salary cap. I think Devontae's like $13.1 million this year. So they would have to do some juggling with that. they probably should have lost 2 games. I mean, definitely should
Yeah.
have lost week 1. Probably should have lost 2 games. I don't think Mahomes is quite what he's been probably the last 4 years. He's pretty much an average quarterback right now. And if you look in fantasy, I think he's the 18th rated quarterback right now, somewhere in that range.
Yep.
So yeah, they need to go out and find a number 2 receiver on a team that could be their number 1 to carry them through, because you're not going to get Rice back. I think Hollywood Brown's going to be out for the season, could come back in the playoffs. You drafted Sky Moore really early 2 years ago when he hasn't really came about. You got Hardman there, who's really familiar with the offense. Travis Kelce looks old. Yeah, you're going to have to use P. Ryan out of the backfield as a check down. But the only answer is you're going to have to go out and find a number 2 receiver on a team to make them your number 1 in order to fit them in the salary cap, or you're going to have to restructure some contracts.
There was, I also heard talk about if the Jaguars lose another game, that Christian Kirk might become available, and I could see him fitting really, really well into the offense. Or the Jets, because Devontae Adams might want to join back with Aaron Rodgers. And if they do that, then the wide receiver room in the New York is going to be kind of full, and Mike Williams might be opportunity to go to the Chiefs. I'm sure he's not over a $4 or $5 million range, so it might be an opportunity. But I just don't see the
$10 million for Mike Williams.
$10 million?
1 year, $10 million contract.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, all right. Thank you for that. On C.
So
I'm here in Aspen. You're back there working.
So I will say they got Xavier Worthy, and so they have somebody who has been on the rise and coming up. I think that they could do something. If Travis Kelce did turn a new leaf, they could have a solid Hunt, or they could have a solid offense with Hunt, Worthy, and Kelce. And I think that like you said, bringing in, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, Perrine.
Pirine.
Man, yeah, I was never gonna get that. So if you bring him in though, then you could definitely give more threats. And I think Patrick Mahomes, I wouldn't bet against that guy. He knows how to run an offense, and even if he's not pulling off the plays, even if he's not doing it, I mean, and it could just be the OC, but I mean, he's getting wins. That's what matters.
Well, they have the Saints coming in town on Monday night this week, and the Saints started off the season on fire, and it kind of came back down to earth a little bit here. But the Saints are pretty healthy. Olave, Kamara, Derek Carr, where do you come from again? Even this Jawan Johnson tight end. So the Saints may give the Chiefs a little bit of a run for the money this week. So we're looking forward to seeing that. But let's move on to our homeboy. Now, first of all, give me your thoughts on the Lions uniforms they brought out Monday night, the blacks with the super bright blue helmets. What do you think?
Great helmet.
I thought it was fantastic. That was a great look. Paul, did you see it?
Oh, I didn't see it, but I looked up pictures afterwards, and yeah, I saw it. I didn't see it live, I should say. Yeah.
Or as they say today, the drip. Is that it? That's it, Paul?
Yeah. Yep. Good job, Dad.
So they come out and Goff is I think the best quarterback that we could have for this team. He's definitely embraced Detroit. Detroit's embraced him. Everywhere you go, you hear Jared Goff chants, which is fantastic. I love that. But to come on out, and people were putting him maybe in the top 10, maybe around 8 or 9, definitely mid-level, nothing spectacular. And he comes out with a 18 for 18, 290 whatever yard, and a reception, 2 touchdown passes. I see a lot of football, but that was perfection. So give me your thoughts on what you guys saw or can comment about Jared Goff and his performance.
I mean, he was on the money on Monday night. I believe he's hit his last 25 passes in a row from this past game and the week before. That offense is on fire right now. If they could take that same offense, when they take it on the road, that would be great. They're a way better home team than they are a road team. Um, Especially if you get outside of a dome. Goff is not so good in his career. So yeah, I think that offense is great. I think you need to get your tight end more involved, like we did last year. But then you got Jamil that's getting hot, so he's getting all those catches that Sam had last year. I think your running back room is probably one of the best in the league.
Mm-hmm.
There is no true number one. You could, if you had them both on your fantasy team, you could roll them both out every week and get your points.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Montgomery came out in that first series on fire. I believe he had 40 yards and a touchdown, and then he kind of phased out after that. He had one catch for 40 yards, I believe, and a couple more runs, but Gibbs was on fire also. So like I said, I mean, it's just pick your poison with that team,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Paul, what's your observations of the Lions or week 4 or anything about the Lions in general?
I mean, yeah, just after looking through the statistics afterwards, I noticed that he did a real good job spreading out his receptions to his team, and I thought that was pretty impressive. I mean, and not to mention he's got the 18 hits, but which is amazing that he broke a record by 8 because it previously was 10 before that, which is awesome that he did so well. But I think to me what stood out was the fact that he actually hit multiple people on his team and it just didn't just stick with one or two players who were excelling in that particular game, right? He saw the whole field, and that's a great sign.
Tim Patrick had a couple. What about that run, the catch and run that Montgomery had, where
unreal,
where Devin Witherspoon hit Montgomery? I don't think Montgomery took an inch backwards, and Witherspoon flops on the ground, and then Montgomery breaks 2 more tackles, and then runs for a total of 40 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably the best catch run that I've seen year to date so far. All those yak yards.
Yeah, for sure.
Those yak yards.
Those yak
yards after contact. Yak yards. So very impressive. So yeah, Jared Goff, 18 for 18. Pretty awesome. So any other observations you guys saw in week 4 you just want to comment about that you guys thought was noteworthy?
I'm pretty impressed with Seattle. I'm pretty impressed with their offense. They just didn't know how to D up on Monday night. But I think Geno's doing a great job with the new offense that they brought in. I really like the head coach, obviously. He's got
some
Michigan ties.
Yeah.
But I think their offense is clicking. They just ran into a buzzsaw on Monday night. As far as anything else, I think Miami's in trouble until they get Tua back.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear Tua was going to come back. I think they said week 8. So I don't think Hill is playable right now. I mean, he looks average right now.
Yeah.
So I would not be putting him in any of my lineups, including my extreme lineups, until you get Tua back.
Okay.
But right now, I think the league is pretty much. I think every team is kind of even right now.
Okay. How about you, Paul? What do you think?
I mean, shoot, is this talking? I'm thinking about Tua and how I think that he should not be hopping back in the game right now. But all people get their own choices, and he can do something with that offense. But what was your question initially?
How about Minnesota, Paul? Minnesota being 4-0. What's your thought about them?
Oh yeah. Okay, I think that they're doing real good, and I am very surprised with it. I absolutely did not expect this sort of performance from them, but I also
are they for real? Are they for real? You think?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean,
Okay.
I don't know when they're going to run out of gas, but I don't think it'll hold on as long as other teams. I just don't think they have that X factor that's going to keep them winning consistently, against teams that can start to pull an advantage on them and push it down their throat.
Okay. I think we just need to get more tape on Sam Darnold. I mean, you got to realize, I think Darnold has literally only started 12 games. I think when you get more tape on Darnold, you can see what he does, and then you'll be able to change your defensive schemes on him. You got a decent running back there. You got the top receiver in the game there. So, I mean, he can win games all day long for you.
Yeah.
They're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Are they for real? I think they're for real. I think they might be probably a 10, 11, 12 win team.
So if Justin
Wow.
Jefferson wasn't in there, would you still make that statement?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
He's a game changer.
For
He's a
sure.
game
And
changer.
I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. I'm fingers crossed for him not to get injured, but if he does, then I think that they could be in a rough spot.
Yeah. If he wasn't there, they wouldn't be 4-0 right now.
Right.
And in our league, Joe, I did stack Darnold and Justin Jefferson, so I'm happy with that so far. So
Nice
my
play.
first time really embracing the Vikings. My first time.
All because JJ went there.
He's got the
Sunshine.
sun in front of him, and here we go.
All right. Hey, let's get to our picks of the week. Paul, I'll let you go first. Tell us who you have as your pick of the week for week 5.
All right, so as a recent Texans believer, I'm going with the Texans over the Bills, and I think that that's going to be my game of the week because I know that Josh Allen has been doing amazing stuff. Keon Coleman is a great one to go with. Dalton Kincaid, I know that tight ends have been what they are, but I think he can do something. And so I think that there's no reason that the Bills shouldn't be doing better this season, except for the fact that they just aren't. And the fact that they aren't makes me question, all right, you know what, let's look to people that are. And I think that this is that game that exemplifies just that, where it shows a positive trend over a negative trend. And I think that there's a good chance that the Texans win it, and I'm gonna go for it.
All right. Even without Joe Mixon, I know he's questionable right now.
Yeah, even without Joe Mixon. Granted, I think that they were going to play him. But, yeah, I mean, I have Cam Akers on the exchange, and he's at like $40-something. And I think that he can – I mean, if he performs average, then they'll be all right because they don't need the running backs to win the games. They need the running backs to take pressure off of the wide receivers.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Joe.
Yeah.
Who do you have?
I have the Cowboys and the Steelers.
Yeah.
And I think this game is going to show truly how good Pittsburgh is or isn't. Mm-hmm. With their 3 wins so far this year, tried to come back against Indianapolis to win that game, just came up a little bit short. Dallas's defense,
right?
Trash. You can run against them. Justin Fields, and Pittsburgh defense is stout. So I think they're going to, I think they can eat Dak up. And being in Pittsburgh Sunday night, I think Pittsburgh wins this game. It's going to show us how good of a team they are, and it's going to show how bad Dallas truly is.
Well, being a longtime Steeler fan, Steelers hate the Cowboys. They always have forever, going back to the 70s. So, yeah, I'm also rooting strongly for the Steelers to win that game. I do think that CeeDee Lamb is exceptional, but the defense, if you have TJ Watt and Hayward out there on defense, those two people enough. That can stop an offense. So go Steelers. I like that. And my pick of the week, I'm going to stay in the AFC Central. Or AFC Central, and go with the Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati. I am shocked at the pace that the Bengals are at 1-3 at this point. If they don't win this game, they are out. They have to be. I think I saw online that Joe Burrow has to be perfect, and I think he has to be perfect. But I don't think you can be perfect, even though you're at home against the hated Ravens. I just think that the Bengals are in trouble. Baltimore is just an awesome team, and when you got Derrick Henry, you can ball control. I just think the Bengals don't have opportunity, and have them go into the league at 1-4 after this week. Might as well start planning for next season because they're not a playoff team. So my pick is that there's no margin for error for the Bengals.
You know what's interesting? Because I know it's Madden, and Madden is just the game, right? But played Madden Madden 25, yeah. And I was drafted onto the Bengals, and I was playing defense, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I was very disappointed with my offense as they just continue to not get anything successfully, and I had to constantly pull the weight, So I don't know. It's just Madden game, but
Were you a linebacker or an edge rusher?
linebacker for sure.
Okay. I can see that. All right. Hey, Paul, get that outro music going, and then let's talk about the liking, subscribing. If you are listening to us still now, we want to thank you. And we are trying to make our world better. So please like, subscribe, pass it on, tell your friends about how wonderful we are. ExtremeFFL.com. Our sponsors are always 123go.io and Tabby Entertainment. And a great big shout out to Mr. Joe Bliss for coming on the line. This is your third time, I think, right, Joe? Third or fourth time being with us?
I think a third or fourth time, yeah.
I love that. So always
Nice.
great having you here. Thanks, Pablo, for being home. And I'm gonna point you guys to the Aspen Mountain gondola ride. And I'm not a skier, but that is pretty awesome up there. So,
Oh yeah.
with that being said, looking forward to seeing everybody next week. And when life gives you a chance, make it happen. Peace.